Careful I don't break these things in the wind. They probably won't fit at all. Look at that. So yeah, that's right. I'm putting stringers in this thing, and then she's gonna get a couple of bulkheads, one primary right about here, and then a full casting deck across the front. And the whole back's gonna be empty and a flat floor. This is gonna come out really nice. It's really gonna stiffen the hull up as well. As you can see, I added the whole layer of 1708. That's also to stiffen things up, because it was super flexy there right before we pulled her out of the water the last time. Like literally the hull was just with every wave that we hit, and that's what prompted me to start this whole thing. So the extra layer of glass, adding stringers, all the glass that's gonna hold the stringers down, and then a floor. This thing's gonna be solid. So yeah, I got some more shaping to do to these. I'll get them to actually fit and sit perfect to the contour of the hull. Shape the back to match the transom, actually measure out and mark exactly where I wanna put them. And then we can think about starting to put them in. Yay! Here I'm going to shape the back here to match the transom on each of these and do some sanding then. Grab a line. I'm up with my measurement here to do my stringers. And it's kind of an unorthodox means, but the portable fuel tank that I have to this boat is 12.5 inches to the inside. And I want the tank to be able to fit between the stringers up front. So I'm doing it at 12.5 inches to the inside. Science. Get over there. It's time to start sanding and shaping these stringers. Let's see how we're looking here, looking here, looking here. This one goes over here. Yes, it does over here. It goes over here. I'm gonna have to make a makeshift shaper thing. Okay, I got my stringers completely shaped, and I have cut a bunch of little spacer boards at the proper width that I want my stringers to be separated. And I'm going to go ahead and screw all of my stringers to those boards so that it holds them in place, and I can just set them down into the bedding compound when I'm ready to do that. To the other end! Got a little whoop to it. There you go. What do you think? I'm gonna get some measurements and make sure I at least have them, for the most part, fairly straight so that the stresses are equal on each side of the hull.
The next day.
Okay, it's crazy hot out, so as you can see, I got the shade tent up and do a quick grind on the hull, and then it's time to put the stringers in. Yeah, all the grinding is done on this step. Now all I gotta do is clean up my mess and get ready to glue in some stringers. Yeah. So, I almost got ahead of myself there and started working on the stringers, but then I realized I gotta finish laminating out the transom before I want to put the stringers in. I had made mention of it before that I'm going to make this transom double thick, and I never did it yet. There's still only one layer of 3/4 inch Cusa board. One thing that you will notice is there's lines right here, and that's because I actually used little planks of Cusa board that I had laying around. Came from other projects and just other things. They were leftover scraps, and it's actually perfectly fine to glue them together because it's in here primarily for the clamping strength and compression strength to be able to bolt to or clamping a motor. So I did the first layer here horizontal. Well, Here is my second section, and it is actually going to go on vertical, just like that. And what this is going to do is I'm going to have 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch, couple layers of glass in here, and it's going to work out to be roughly a 2-inch thick transom. The Kusa board is laminated together with epoxy. Both the original and this new one are both put together using epoxy. I'm actually going to use an epoxy putty to adhere this piece here, and then after that kicks off, which won't take too terribly long, I'm going to add an additional 2 layers of 1708, and then the transom is pretty much done at that point. Then I can go back to working on the stringers. I gotta go get acetone. Woo. So that this doesn't get too hot too fast, you don't want to leave it in the cup and start to kick. Get my spreader. Okay, spread it on here. It's just enough. Let's press these two together, eh? Already have my holes drilled. Through there, boom. Beautiful. Ooh, good squeeze. Well, that should work good.
Even more boat building attempts later.
All right, as you can see, the interior piece of the transom core is put in, and we got a full 1.5 inch thickness now on the core material, and then I'm going to add a couple of layers of glass on here. So we're doing 1708, 2 more layers, so that'll make 3 on the inside, 3 on the outside altogether. This thing's gonna be crazy stiff. So I already have my glass pre-cut. This is completely prepped. I got fillet welds in every corner and every piece. The only thing left to do now is mix my resin and get to glassing.
What follows is a brief construction montage.
It's that time. We're gonna go ahead and glue these stringers in. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to put a bunch of putty on the bottom side of each stringer. Since they're attached, I gotta pick them up as a unit and set them into place. And then the next step will just be a quick light sand to knock down high spots, and then I can start glassing them in. Alright, so I pre-mixed 2 batches of thickened resin. I ain't gonna lie, I'm nervous. This is a lot of ground to cover. Alright, so they're glued in, and let this kind of like tack off to hold the stringers in place. Then my next batch I'm going to mix up, and I'll do my little fillet weld down the side of each one and fill any voids. It's fillet time! Okay, I have the stringers completely glued in, and now it's time to glass them. I got a special team coming to help me out to make this a little bit easier. It's a lot of ground to cover and a lot of glass to lay up. I'm going to use 1708 biaxial cloth that's already pre-cut on a roll for me, so it's going to make it nice and easy on that end, but there's a lot of resin to mix, a lot of resin to lay out. May as well have a team, right? So let's get to it.